Okay, guys, welcome to a WrestleSlam Halloween special. We're joined by the great, the legendary Matt Murphy. He's looking awesome. Now, we were supposed to dress up. It was Lizzie's idea to dress up. I just rushed back home from a football match with my son. Phil forgot, I think, and I forgot. But Matt's playing the part. He's the guy.
I was just having a chat with my sister beforehand, and she just said, "Look, Matt, are you sure that maybe the lads are like pulling your leg, like they're not going to go dress up?" I was like, "Nah, the lads won't do that." And now look at this.
Right.
I'm saying true.
If Lizzie and Joe were here, there'd be no messing about. Like our co-guest, Liz and Joe, they're actually moving house at the moment, so they're going to be away for 1 or 2 weeks until they get Wi-Fi. So we will miss them, and also Michael Stone. I know he's back on the road gigging and stuff, so they'll be back next week. But Matt, you're looking fantastic. You are playing a part. I was looking for a mask just before I came on. I already have a mask on. Right.
I mean, I just said to you, like, before, it's like, you can always say that you're working with Sports Matters TV, just by like saying, this is my Halloween outfit.
Yeah,
so.
I'm going to be telling Jerry Collin from Sports Matters, and Phil Connolly from Deep Red Productions and WrestleSlam. So, yeah, we're dressed up as them guys.
Yeah. And I'm just having a laugh. I'm not really dressing up. This is just how I normally look like, so. Happy Halloween joke, for God's sake.
I love it. But lads, it's a Halloween special. Look, we're going to go straight into news. Ring of Honor has folded, which is crazy news. I think no one expected it. A lot of free agents at the moment. It's going to be interesting to see what happens the next couple of weeks because they have some really good roster and stars on the roster. Phil, what's your take on Ring of Honor? First of all, folding. I know you've got some original DVDs from back in the day and stuff, but it's sad news.
It is a sad news, but it's a weird one because two people own it. The guys who are trying to supposedly sell it, because that's only a rumor, I don't know how true that is.
Yeah.
To have the library goes back to like 2012 or something.
Yeah.
So I was trying to figure out. I knew the name. I just can't remember the name. The guy who owns the Golden Era.
It says the founder was Rob Feinstein.
But I don't know if he owns it anymore. See.
Yeah, and it's the Sinclair broadcast group. They're involved as well.
Yeah, so Sinclair basically released everybody from their contracts, which was kind of weird because that's like 60 guys, and even our own like Irish Session Martina.
Yeah, well, like the key people in the company is obviously Christopher Ripley. He's the president and CEO of Sinclair Broadcast Group. You have Joe Koff, Gary Juster, Dan Boonham, Carrie Silkin, and there's many more. But like
that could be the guy. That's the guy, I think, Carrie Silkin. I think he owns.
He's the ambassador and the former owner.
Yeah, he owns the old stuff.
Yeah, it's interesting. Look, they obviously started 19 years ago, February 23rd, 2002, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Just before TNA started, about 2 months before TNA started.
Yeah, and like they're iconic, you know what I mean? Ring of Honor, like I've been to see him. I went to see him in New Orleans in 2018, I believe. And we've seen some great stars come out of it, like obviously Punk, you know, Brian, Homicide, AJ. Like it's a shame, and like we have to talk about Martina. We were with Sesh about Martina, and Phil, I think it's fair to say in Limerick, she probably didn't know about it because she.
No, it only came out a few days afterwards.
Yeah, so obviously it was tight-lipped. Matt, what do you reckon this means now for the Ring of Honor stars? Because look, you have Jay Little, you know, you have Dalton Castle, Sesh Martina. There's a lot trending at the moment. Do you reckon we're going to see some of the stars go NXT, AEW?
Personally, I kind of hope not, because it probably will happen. They will go to AEW, they will go to WWE, or even Impact, or go to New Japan. But it's kind of upsetting because I always saw Ring of Honor as kind of like this underground, like, wrestling organization in the midst of WWE and TNA at the time. They were always there for like up and coming stars to actually like build their own kind of way, because you know they were looking at the time. We were looking at WWE, TNA, and also Ring of Honor was just there. But that was meant for, like, wrestling fans, people who loves the sport, people who wants to go and be wrestlers, not entertainers. That's what they're focusing on. And in some way, I feel like that kind of builds AEW in some way, as a reminder, as in, like, if there's other lads out there who want to do it just for wrestling, that's what they're doing. A lot of people saying AEW swooped in from Ring of Honor, but I just feel like Ring of Honor has always been there, and that's for anyone who knows about them. Like, so it's upsetting, but I hope they do come back. And
they are supposed to be coming back. They're actually rebranding, apparently.
I heard about that. Yeah.
I think it's a shame because they're probably at the highest peak prior to lockdown. Obviously, Madison Square Garden, that was pretty huge. We were in New York for that, and you know what I mean. They have a really good roster. You know what I mean. They have the real foundry of of indie wrestling when it comes to the fans. I think the fans will always mention Ring of Honor as perhaps the top organization outside of WWE. And they don't.
They're going back.
Matches wise.
They're going back to the old days where they're not signing anyone to contracts, just paying them per night.
Yeah. No, that could work. You know what I mean. But it's I feel for Seshma Martina because it's she obviously you know what I mean. She was over there for a while. Obviously, pandemic kicked in, and obviously they've kept her on the payroll for the year and a half, 2 years, and now it's all come crushing on. But there's you know what I mean. There's going to be no one on that roster that will find it hard to get a job. I think because they're so good.
Yeah, you think so? Like Jay Lethal easily could go back to Impact Wrestling tomorrow.
Yeah. I think he will go back there. You know what I mean? I think Sesh might end up at All Elite, like, or maybe she might want to venture in NXT or something. Because she's really on a high as well at the moment.
Just be worried because AEW are picking up wrestlers like nothing. Like they're just constantly throwing new guys at you.
Yeah.
Bray Wyatt's obviously trending as well at the moment,
Yeah.
It's like what I said before. I can see most of them going to AEW. Tony Khan just like kind of like picking them out, like going to the supermarket, picking out groceries, picking out wrestlers. I just want to see them going back to like Impact or like the AAA. I want to go to see there's other wrestling companies that they can go to that still needs a bit of recognition. And because they have big enough names, people will tune in just to see them. Like, so it's not just AEW. I know AEW is probably the number one place they'll go to, but think of the other places that's going on at the moment. Like,
but the only thing I do see is Tim's buddy Dowstin will be picked up.
Yeah, I agree. It's the roster's beautiful. They really do have a very good roster. Like, as you see over the years,
like, all the elite came through there. Like, so.
Yeah, and even Seth Rollins.
Yeah, Tyler Black.
Yeah. It's mad. But it's look, we're wishing all the staff. Obviously, look, they didn't want to shut it down, but we're wishing all the staff and all the roster the best in the next couple of weeks. And we have no doubt they'll all go, on a good journey elsewhere.
Just one last thing on it, actually, because they actually have Final Battle booked.
Yeah,
it's actually booked. Like,
so people should really subscribe to that. Like, they should really be buying that pay-per-view to help them. As a Ring of Honor fan, it's just nice to kind of to go out like with them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's obviously going to be an emotional night too, because they're probably going to retire belts and stuff like.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's good to know. Like, there's lads like Phil, as in with Ring of Honor, what they said about the releasing like talent. There's fans like Phil. I'm dragging you into this. Will say, no, we know who you are. You know exactly what you did with the wrestling business, and thank you. And we are going to wish them luck. And hopefully they will come back.
Like this
happened better. Now do we know?
This happened with Evolve as well, and Evolve never came back.
Yeah, like the current champions at the moment. Is it Bandito? He's the Ring of Honor World Champion. I think Dragon Lee, obviously World Television Champion. Josh Woods is the Pure Champion.
Briscoe's won the tag belts, I think, recently.
Yeah,
heard about that.
Roxy, Women's Champion. So yeah, there's a lot going on. You know what I mean? It's
weird. The weird thing is they just started the women's belt like a few weeks back.
You could be sure Seshmont was definitely in the frame for that. Like, you know what I mean? To challenge. You know what I mean?
Weird guys.
Yeah.
Go on the Sesh. That's all I say. Go on, Seshmont.
Now, lads, we'll swap quickly, right? Bray Wyatt, I said it to you yesterday, Phil. Bray Wyatt's trending. And look, there's talks he's going to come back as the Windham. Do you know what I mean? It's is he All Elite bound, or can you see him turn up in Impact or New Japan? What do you reckon?
I think the Impact train is gone.
Yeah.
That would have happened at Bound for Glory at their youth show, if that was going to happen. The rumor is he's trying to get a Hollywood movies.
Yeah, I've seen that. That's trending, obviously. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
What's your take on Bray Wyatt, man? I know you're a fan. Do you think he's going to repackage and come to All Elite, or do you reckon he'll just do his thing and do movies?
I can see him at least going to. I'm just going to wing it right now. I can't see him going to AEW Impact anytime soon. I know I said briefly about Ring of Honor with other companies. I can see him going over to New Japan, to be honest. I can see him like other companies because he officially has this big name of Bray Wyatt. We all know who he is like. So I can see him going to over there to kind of build his way up. But I might be bold, lads. I'm going to be really bold because WWE fucked up with releasing Bray Wyatt because Bray Wyatt is one of the creative minds in professional wrestling today with 3 characters. So I can see him maybe returning at Survivor Series to challenge Roman Reigns. Maybe WWE's going to bring him back because they realize that. That's just me. Just going to toss it out there, lads.
We said that. Me and Phil had a little chat yesterday while we were working, and we said we wouldn't be surprised if he actually went back to WWE on a new contract.
Yeah. So that's my prediction. I see him going over to New Japan because with the horror culture over there is like huge, and they're going to be loving him over there. And WWE come bringing back Survivor Series because they realize once they release them, they're going to say, "What have we done? We got rid of this creative mind away." So that's my predictions. My 2 predictions.
We have to bring up Braun Strowman, just for the simple fact they're similar. They both worked together. Is Braun going to turn up at Impact? For look, it's a serious strong rumor. Do you think it's going to happen?
It's the same thing with Bray. I think he didn't show up at the Bound for Glory and he didn't show up at the taping, so I reckon he could go to AEW at this stage.
Yeah.
I still am holding on hopes that he will go to Impact. I mean, he had a good rival with EC3 for a bit. They keep on teasing it, so I feel like that's still confirmed that he is going to go to Impact. So I'm holding on hope. I know I already said Bray Wyatt's not going to Impact, but I'm holding on hope that Braun Strowman is just going to show up out of the blue in Impact. But now it's Braun Strowman as Titan or whatever his name is nowadays.
Yeah, what is the story with EC3 at the moment? That's completely.
He was in Ring of Honor. Free agent.
You rarely ever see him. Like he's really had a fall from grace, really, hasn't he?
Well, the thing with him, his confidence was destroyed because of all the stuff that went on with Vince, and he kind of tried to reinvent himself again. But the pandemic really isn't ideal for that. So I like him. I think he's talented. Like just not doing the stuff that he did last time he was in Impact. That was a joke. Did any of you ever see that? Did any of you remember that?
Yeah.
I just thought it was a big what the fuck moment, as in like he went from EC3, being this posh, rich kid, a nephew of Dixie Carter that went to WWE for some reason, and now he transformed into like this Tyler Durden from Fight Club character. I was like, oh, that's one big massive character change. He'll make it work, but like you said, he's like a fall from grace. We don't know what to doing. Like like I said, the rival with Braun Strowman, I was kind of like interested in, but like you said, like if he's an Impact or Ring of Honor, either way they can use him well, but we don't know what he's doing these days. So
he was in Impact last year, and then they let him go.
Yeah, I see that.
He went to Ring of Honor, and now he's a free agent again. So who knows?
Yeah, he's all over the shop at the moment. You know what I mean? It's
speaking on like free agents and shit. Just Del Rio starting shit. Yeah. What do you think? Alberto Del Rio.
Oh God.
He's saying that he's joining WWE, but like that's clearly not true.
You never know, though. Like, you know what I mean? You never know. Like, he's always trending.
Yeah, he was trending there yesterday because he said he was joining them.
Yeah, it just says, you know what I mean? It says Del Rio is reportedly telling people he's returned to Vince's company. You know what I mean? He's telling a lot of people it's going to happen, and like, you know what I mean? Del Rio was decent. I must say, I enjoyed him in WWE. You know what I mean? But it's I don't have time for the man. There's so many stories about him now. I'll always distance myself away from him, to be honest.
Yeah, he's too much baggage.
I know. I think those news that he's saying about joining WWE is fake. Faker than my glasses.
Yeah, it's just going to be interesting. Lads, I just want to give you some updates as well with Hulk Hogan. Obviously, there was an interview lately with Brooke Hogan, and she was saying, you know, behind the scenes, her dad's after a lot of operations recently, and his health it's decent enough. You know what I mean? I think it'd be a great loss if poor Hulk was to get sick. You know what I mean? I think he doesn't get enough credit these days. You know what I mean? I think, you know what I mean, he's been, you know, there's a lot of criticism and stuff. But what's your take on these rumours that Hulk is not too well at the moment?
There was a few stories about him recently. It's weird.
Yeah,
it's almost
strange.
I think he's just trying to stay in the limelight, to be honest.
Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Never stop. I could never vision Hulk not being with us. Like, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, like he's iconic, basically, in wrestling.
Yeah. No, agree. Right, lads, I'm going to switch to SmackDown. Interesting episode. I caught all the highlights this morning prior to going to football training and daddy duties. But lads, you know what I mean? It's SmackDown should always be good after, I suppose. You know what I mean? Some crown jewels and all that kind of stuff. Are they losing direction at the moment, Phil? There's a lot of stuff going on. You know what I mean? It's a packed roster in a sense. We've seen a lot of the same matches. Surprised to see Drew McIntyre. Mustafa. That was a good match, though. I actually enjoyed that. But what's your take on this Friday SmackDown?
Just going on to the Drew McIntyre stuff, because did they really play the race cards there? With that one?
It seemed they did, yeah.
I didn't think they'd ever do that today. Like, it's a bit weird. It's a weird.
I saw this morning, and I actually thought to him, I was like, is WB actually going to go there now? That's what I was thinking today. Now, are we actually going to get the same storyline from Muhammad Ali?
The problem with it is if he doesn't get a big win out of it, people will call him out. Like,
yeah. I don't know. It is bizarre. Do you know what I mean? Straight after Crown Jewels, something like that could possibly happen. Like, you know.
Yeah. I just found it very strange.
Yeah,
to be honest, his career kind of went slowly down with, you know, with, can't remember the name now. It's so bad. Retribution.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was going nowhere from, unfortunately. So, yeah, I was like thinking, is WWE gonna like repackage him in some way? I know they are at the moment, but with this type of storyline.
I just don't see where it goes without him winning a belt or something.
Yeah, because otherwise, to see what does happen. It's going to be interesting to see what does happen.
But Drew McIntyre now is going to go through the motions as well, because like, what are you doing with him? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like I know that he's probably taking a break from going after the title scene at the moment, but maybe they might make it work with you know, his open challenge. I mean, he is actually big in WWE now. He came a long way from being like a jobber and being with EC3. He is actually a big deal now, so wrestlers will try and take him down somewhere. So I feel like this is one of those storylines that we can't take seriously, but it's going to get big down the line, like on SmackDown.
Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Definitely. No, what you make of SmackDown in general, lads? Look, the New Day, they seem to be headlining all the SmackDowns. It seems to be all New Day. Obviously, some of the big boys are missing, which was interesting. But obviously, Brock Lesnar's got a €1 million fine. Phil, what's your take? Look, we know wrestling's wrestling, but what's your take on that?
I think it's realistic. Remember when they used to do 50,000 fines? They were ridiculous. I really didn't like that at all. But $1 million, it's progresses the storyline when they keep Brock on TV. I suppose that's the best thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, you know what I mean? Obviously, he came back. He lost the crown jewel. You know what I mean? He's obviously got that fine. It's going to be interesting to see how he recreates himself. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think with this, like Jerry said, I think with this type of storyline, it's going to like keep him on TV a bit more. I mean, part-time TV, but we're still going to see happy-go-lucky, kissing baby face of Brock Lesnar is going to be sticking around the place. So that's the main thing.
That's 1 second there, right? Sorry, no, we're like... Right, lads, and obviously, look, Brock's the man. It's good to have him back. You know, there was no Roman Reigns this week, Phil.
Yeah, that was a weird one. I think, is that just because they have a UK tour as well? They just give him time off? Because I know he's not scheduled, to be honest.
The schedule for the UK tour is actually decent enough, to be fair, but it's going to be interesting to see what does happen. But it's probably weird not seeing Roman on our screens, isn't it?
Very strange. Yeah, very strange.
Now, speaking of the UK tour, I wonder will be any beef between Becky and Charlotte?
I think they're on different shows, aren't they?
No, I think they're on the same show.
I thought that Charlotte was fighting Sasha Banks.
That's what I thought as well. Is that going on?
They're on the same show, but different fights, aren't they?
All right, okay.
So they will be together, like, you know?
Yeah, I think one of them might lose the belt before Survivor Series. I can't see them doing that match.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens, you know what I mean?
Because like last night they were trying something to start with Shotzi, which I'm all for.
Yeah.
I think Shotzi is like superstar.
Yeah, you could have said that a while back as well, which was good, you know what I mean? So it'll be interesting.
If you were a kid watching that and you see her cool entrance with a tank and she kind of looks cool, she looks like a rock star.
Yeah, she is though. Yeah. Like you say, look, I think the game's changing, like, you know what I mean? We've seen so much over the years, but I think she'll be huge. I think Liv Morgan needs to get back in the frame though. Like, Matt, what's your take on Liv Morgan and Shotzi?
I really hope WWE's not going to drop the ball with Liv Morgan, because I said a while back on the podcast I was aiming for an underdog like story with Liv Morgan, as in she's going to slowly work her way up into the title scene, and even if she goes to the title scene and loses, she's still going to look strong. So I hope WWE's not forgetting about Liv Morgan, as in just have her join everyone in the locker room, but they're wearing their gear for absolutely no reason when they're not competing. But Shotzi, I'm hoping they're doing well with her as well, like, especially if we see her going down the heel road. But I hope they're not going to scrap the idea with her having the tank, because that makes her awesome. So that's my take on it.
No, I agree 100%. And lads, look, I know I always bring up this name, but look, there's talks. Goldberg has one more match. So it's that's one more match on the contract. That's what it's saying. Obviously, he beat Bobby, and lads, he looked good beating Bobby. I have to say it.
That's his best match in a long time. I'd say his best match since Brock, I'd say.
It seems he's put a bit of an effort. Like, it seems like he's really training and he's really looking strong again. Like,
I liked the match. I didn't like his comments. I thought their comments were a bit much.
Yeah.
Well, he called us all fuckers. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you don't say that. Like, I wouldn't say that about, anyone really. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, you did say that one time to me, and I let it slide. But now you're bringing it up. Now I'm having a vengeance on you, Phil. But move on.
Yeah. But the only match I see is Roman Reigns, to be honest.
Yeah, I think that's the only match that should be left. You know what I mean? Maybe go out with a bang, like, you know. But he's not going to beat Roman. I'd say there's no way.
No, I don't think so.
No, I can't see Goldberg going after the title picture. I think WWE probably won't be listening, but I think we're all done with him going to the title picture. As in, everyone who never even grew up on WCW and seeing his work all knows who he is. The young crowd knows who he is, like, so at this stage. So
well,
I think they're the picture.
It'll be interesting. Like, the rumor is that Vince McMahon is actually going back to Saudi Arabia as we speak. He's actually there for business talks. So obviously they're planning maybe 1 or 2 more pay-per-views for...
February. I reckon February or April we'll see another one.
Yeah, and it was a good one. I enjoyed it. I know we spoke about it in depth recently in the last couple of podcasts, but
I really, really, really thought it was the best Saudi show I've ever seen.
yeah, I think it was well put together, bar the finishing end. You liked the end enough, Phil, I know that, with Roman and
I like the continuous stuff, yeah.
No, it'll be interesting. We'll have to switch, lads, to All Elite Wrestling. Friday, Rampage. We had the World Title Eliminator, Bryan Danielson versus Eddie Kingston. Did you get a chance to watch it, boys?
Yeah, good.
I did, just this morning.
Matt, what was your take on it, bro?
Not gonna lie, probably next to Britt Baker versus Abaddon, probably the best match of the night. And I'm not saying this as an, oh lads, it's Bryan Danielson, yes, boy. It's actually probably one of the best matches of the night, or even probably in the tournament as well. Like Eddie Kingston and Bryan Danielson, you could tell they know each other so well at this stage with rivalries they had before Bryan Danielson went to WWE. So that's what I would like good communication, good chemistry and everything. So there was, and I love how AEW loves teasing. Oh, is Eddie Kingston going to win? No, he didn't. Bryan Danielson kicked out. But I thought it was an unreal win by Bryan Danielson. And I'm looking forward to see
I love the finish
versus CM Punk.
I love the finish.
Yeah, and the main event was good as well as a trick or treat match. Pretty decent, you know what I mean? Britt Baker.
There was a couple of bad botches though. That table spot was horrific.
Yeah, DMD Rebel, Jamie Hader versus Abandon.
He got injured.
Yeah, it looked like there was botches. I've seen the botches. Unfortunately, there was a lot of do you know what I mean? There's a lot of backstage segments as well, which I don't know. Some people like it. I don't like it. I'd rather see matches. Punk is doing a lot of stuff. But we have to give credit first of all to Daniel Bryan. He's so active, lads. He's really gone balls deep. But back to the trick or treat match. Phil, what was your take? Obviously, you spotted the botches.
I like the match. The match was good. Abaddon should be way more used.
Yeah.
She's getting a match against Britt there, and she barely on Dynamite. When was the last time she had a match?
Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah.
I love her. She's very, very good. I just think that she shouldn't be thrown in a deep end. Surely, you know what I mean?
Yeah. What's your take on Jamie Hader? She's unreal, is she?
She's very good. She was so close to joining NXT UK.
Yeah, she's probably doing better now, though, isn't she? She's obviously a Southampton girl, so you know what I mean?
Better spot.
Yeah, 26 years old, obviously has the world ahead of her.
Yeah, she's outstanding, really. Yeah, she's very good.
Yeah.
My only concern about the match was that there was 2 table spots that were just horrific to watch. The table didn't break twice.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
It's very
interesting. Interesting.
Yeah.
Matt, did you get a chance to watch it?
I got a chance to watch it. It was very good. I was just going to mention about the Abaddon versus Britt Baker match real quick about what Phil said. I think AEW is having Abaddon because, it's Halloween and her whole gimmick is she's this demonic, horror character, so it makes sense to use her. It's just upsetting, like you said, that there's a load of botches, like the table spot. Abaddon tossed Britt Baker the thumbtacks, but a lot of thumbtacks got into Abaddon's hand as well, so she couldn't really do much. So it was a good match, but it's just, about the fact that this is kind of like Abaddon's moment to show what she's made of, and it just happened to be in a botched match. But hopefully AEW is going to do well with her anyway, not just for, like I said, Halloween's sake.
Her character's outstanding. I love her character.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
To be honest, her makeup is more scary than any modern horror films we have today. And, well, you might weigh in.
Yeah. It's I enjoyed it, I must say. I was more impressed with the backstage segment with Punk and the Eddie Kingston guys and Tony Schiavone. That was pretty good.
That's the match they're going with at the pay-per-view.
Yeah. It makes sense in my eyes, Phil. Does it make sense in your eyes?
It does, because I know CM Punk hasn't had a build for it, so they're starting something. But I think maybe Punk has a thing with Tony Khan to pick his opponents. Maybe.
Yeah, he's got good beef with Eddie, I'd say. I think he respects him.
Yeah.
We obviously had... sorry. Yeah.
I was just going to say, I'm looking forward for the match, but we all know what CM Punk's like when it comes to promo work. We all know what Eddie Kingston's like with promo work, so I'm looking forward to see what kind of statements they're going to be doing in the ring, and also along with the match. But, so I'm looking forward for future promos and their match at probably Full Gear. I'm buzzing for, lads.
I love it. Now, lads, we had obviously the Martin Seidel trilogy. Jericho, I believe, said that he needs Leo Rush. Because Daddy is just a kid, basically. He needs to go into Leo Rush. Look, we know the lads well, guys. You know what I mean? It's not a bad old trilogy. What was your take on that match, Phil?
Wasn't bad. You know, it was like what it was. It was grand.
Yeah.
That's the way to say it. Like.
I agree, Matt.
I didn't. Yeah, it did nothing for. But it was just. It's just this whole feud annoys me because it's just been going on for weeks and nothing's happening with it.
And if you're a fan in the audience, you're probably not enjoying it either. Like.
No, do you know what I mean? Like this, what is it, Dan Lambert guy? Just does not like he did. I've talked about this before, but he did this whole feud with lesser fighters. Obviously, like that wouldn't have been not named like. But it was just the same thing. I didn't do anything then. It doesn't work now. So,
no, agree.
Hopefully, it ends at the pay-per-view, and that's it.
Yeah, that's the chapter definitely. I think it needs to end soon anyway because look, I think as a fan, it's getting a bit frustrating.
Well, the 10-man tag is going to be a clusterfuck because too much going on and it's a street fight, people hitting each other with weapons, nobody's going to know what's going on.
Half the action, like, yeah.
The audience at home will be like focusing on 2 fighters and then there's like 8 other fighters fighting. It's just going to be a mess. Like,
yeah.
I just don't see it go wrong.
Yeah, no. Matt, what's your take on the trilogy between Seidel and Anthony Martin?
I mean, to be honest, I think that's the one trilogy or rivalry in AEW and not 100% focusing on. But I think knowing AEW, even if it's not going to work well, they're going to make it like great at the end. Like ideally at full gear because whatever they do at pay-per-views at AEW, that's kind of like the last minute. Like, all right, we're going to make up for this type of match that no one really invested on because even matches we're not invested on, it turns out to be one of the best matches. So, so I think it's decent. But I know, like we said it before with Drew McIntyre's call-out challenge, they're going to make it work in some way. So I'm involved in it at the moment now. So because of that.
I love it. Now, lads, I want all of our subscribers and followers. Obviously, we've got a number of videos. We did switch YouTube channels there recently. So you can find us at the WrestleSlam Podcast YouTube channel. Lots of videos there at the moment. We're trying to ramp it as much as we can. We had the Inspirations, Josh Alexander on recently. We had the Phoenix Wrestling WrestleSlam fan vlog. We had the quiz with Liz and Sesh Martina. We've had the WrestleSlam podcast the 24th of October. Impact Wrestling Bone for Glory 2021. That was a Phil Conley and Joe Rush special. We also had a WrestleSlam NXT 2.0 October 26th Thoughts. And we also had a WrestleSlam AEW Dynamite October 27th. The lads are putting in serious work as always. All of you are, you're working really hard. So thanks to everyone that is following the channels. I think there's over 8,000 views already on that YouTube channel, which is impressive. So thank you to everyone. A big thanks to everyone tuning into the WrestleSlam Twitter page as well. And it just feels weird hosting the show without Liz and Joe as well, because I know Liz sometimes hosts the show as well. I sit back and be a fan, but it's as you say, look, we're never going to miss a show. It's great to see Matt dressed up, Phil as always. We're going to wish everyone a happy Halloween. We'll catch you all next week, guys. Be safe, God bless, and have a good Halloween. Keep the spirit,
lads. Keep the spirit of Halloween. Learn from my lesson, for God's sake. Be the cool one.
Love it.
Cheers, guys.